Hi everybody, this is Matt back out at the beautiful Calhoun, Georgia Rec Center football field. And today I want to take a look at a disc from a newer manufacturer at least, the Yikun Jun. Yikun is a manufacturer out of Yingbao, China, a little small coastal town. And this is one of their first distance drivers. The Jun is in their Dragon Line plastic, which is fairly similar to like a ESP. Has a little bit of glitter in it, kind of looks like the Fusion from the Trilogy line. But probably the most similar feel would be the old stiff star plastic from Innova. That's the most similar feel wise. If you get a look at the disc, it's got a pretty thick, strong rim. Actually has, let's get a closer look at this here. It's got a kind of interesting thing going on here where it's almost like a convex rather than a concave on the bottom wing. It's very interesting. The only other disc I can think that gets that sometimes is some of the Archons and Dominators from Innova will do that every now and then. And it's got pretty moderate dome, nice feel, and they rate it at a 11.5, -2.2. I've seen -2.3 occasionally, but really nice feeling disc. I'm going to be comparing it to two very well regarded discs in the similar category. I have a Innova Pro Wraith. This is one of the newer runs of Pro. It's kind of gummy and it's rated 11.5, -1.3, so this should be slightly more overstable, not too much but a little more. And a dynamic disc Fusion Trespass. Trespass is rated 12.5, -0.53, so this one should be slightly faster and about as stable as the Wraith, maybe a little more so. Let's give them a little backhand throw here and see how they do. Kind of interesting to see there. I think I had the best throw with release-wise with the Jun, but the Wraith outdrove it slightly because that big hyzer line I put it on. It's kind of accidental, but they both flew pretty well. The Trespass flew slightly more overstable for me, but I think that was partly because I didn't release it that cleanly. Alright, now I'm going to try some forehand throws. There's a little bit of a left to right crosswind happening, kind of coming from behind me here. So it may make the high speed stability look a little less than it is and the low speed stability look a little bit more. So take that into account when you're watching. Pretty good throws on all three of those. The Trespass and the Wraith hit the fence on the other side, skipping, so I think it was about, say, throw from behind the yard line here, so about 370 feet, because you got 360 between the posts there. The Jun didn't quite go as far, but it was a really low release too. It was less than 4 feet off the ground when I let it go. I never got much higher. Still pretty impressive. It went about 340, despite the fact it never got off the ground much. I'm going to try a shot that I don't throw on the course almost ever. I throw a ton of forehands, and I'm about to try a backhand and hyzer to see if they hold that line or if they're stable enough to come back. The Jun's pretty stable. I've been pretty impressed with it so far. Actually, might put its numbers more like an 11.5, -1.2, like about a Wraith, bit less fade. Kind of liking it so far. Let's see if we can hold that anhyzer line. Well, it may just be because I don't throw that shot much, or my arm's not good enough to make them turn over. But they all held the line to about, I don't know, 250, maybe 275, and started to fade back. The Jun probably had the least dramatic fade of the three, but the Wraith was pretty close. Once the Trespass ran out of steam, it just dumped back. So it's a little bit quicker, so that's probably a lot of what's involved there. I'm gonna do some overhand shots next. It's just a little note. I throw typically a tomahawk when I throw overhand. The thumber grip isn't as comfortable for me, and mainly I use them when I need distance and there's some space up but not so much left or right, or to get over an obstacle. I do throw these pretty far, you know, not world record far, but I can get them out there pretty good. I use the forehand style spread grip. Occasionally, if I'm just looking for power instead of control, I'll use a 2-finger stack grip. Results out of all of those. The Jun actually went the furthest, but the Trespass went the most where I wanted to go. A lot of that has to do with the stability though. The Trespass is a little more overstable, it seems, so it didn't pan so far right before coming back in the barrel roll. Both the Wraith and the Jun went pretty far right before they were able to turn over and come back. So if you're looking for a tight line on the course, the overstable discs are always going to give you a little bit of a quicker one. So I'm really liking the Jun. It's a good straight driver with a predictable finish. I couldn't get to turn too much. I got a little bit on my backhand, a little bit on the forehand, but nothing too crazy. It's not going to get too flippy on you. The wind out here has been a little unpredictable today. It didn't seem to shake the Jun too much. I like that. The Dragonline plastic I've been really impressed with. It feels a ton like the old Enema Star with the sheen and glitter of modern, like a Fusion or Gold Line, or whatever Latitude calls theirs as well. And I'm really digging the feel of it. I miss that old Star plastic feel, like I know a lot of you do too. One thing I'm thinking really cool is this kind of convex action on the rim. And let's take a look at it against the Trespass. I think it shows it pretty well. If you can see, the Trespass kind of has a little bit of a little scooped out area there. The Jun doesn't have that. It's like kind of convex instead of concave. Pretty comfortable in the hand, really. I'm liking that a lot about it. For a forehand release, it feels good. It fits into the notch in my hand there, kind of where you want it to. And the backhand comes out pretty clean. It's a little domey for my forehand though. I've seen some of the Phoenix line ones, and the flat's a little topper on them, and I've heard they don't quite have the glide. I'd like to get one of those and see if it's a little more apt for a forehand. I guess the next question would be, would I bag it? Now, out of these 3 discs, I bag the Pro Wraith. It's my go-to disc for long distance backhands, and that's just about it. That's all I really use it for. I could replace it with the Jun. I can't pump it out there quite as far though. So for what I'm using it for, I think I'm going to stick with the Wraith. But if I were just playing with one driver where I need to be able to go forehand, backhand, I wasn't carrying my fairways, I usually carry a stag or a T-bird, I probably would consider carrying it for like a one driver round or a business trip or something where I was just taking a couple discs. I really like it a lot. If you like discs that are fairly straight and pretty quick, have good glide, the Jun's definitely worth a look, and I love their stamps. Yikun does some cool mythologically inspired stamps, and this one's like a crane type thing. I think they call it a sparrowhawk on their website. Pretty cool looking. That's pretty darn good glide too. The wind's pretty crazy out here and it still managed to cut through the air. Pretty cool looking. That's pretty darn good glide too. The wind's pretty crazy out here and it still managed to cut through the air pretty nicely. If you're looking for one, you can find them on Infinite Disc has them, Marshall Street. This one's actually a little bit overweight. It says on the back it's between 173 and 175. I weighed it on my little scale at home. It's about 176. So I might actually order from Marshall Street because they weigh the disc individually. Infinite may have started doing that as well, I'm not sure. You can also get it under the name Salient Napalm on the Salient website and from Infinite as well. It's basically the same disc, and they've just got a cool like flame stamp and done it up with the Salient logo and all that. So I hope that was a pretty good education on a new company with a pretty good newer driver. I'm liking it a lot.